Planet Zoo Console Edition has officially been announced, and we are looking at the very trailer that is announcing it. In this video, we are going to quickly talk about all the info you will need, and then we don't stop the video. We will actually take a look at Planet Coaster Console Edition, so you get a better idea of what you are going to expect with the Console Edition, because many of you had some really big question marks whether it's going to be a good or bad realization. And I think Planet Coaster Console Edition, that I played also quite a bit, gives us some good clues. But now, with looking at the trailer, I'm gonna give you all the infos now step by step that you will need to know. So the console edition of Planet Zoo is going to be launched on the 26th of March this year. There are several options how to get this, and it's going to be available on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox X series. Now that means unfortunately the last gen is not supported, but honestly if you look at the quality of Planet Coaster back then, I think it's kind of understandable. As I said, there will be several options where to buy, so you can either buy the base game for a 50 euros or $50 or 40 pound. You can buy a deluxe edition for 50 pound, for 60 euros or $60 equally. That is including some certain things. Will feature 16 additional animals and 2 additional scenarios. Basically it's gonna have 2 DLCs included. And then you will have the Ultimate Edition, which is a whopping 100 pounds or $120/euros. And this one is going to include a total of everything. It's going to include 2 DLCs at the beginning and 14 future DLCs that will be launched over the time, including 15 scenarios, 80 different new species, and 2,000 additional scenery pieces. All these you already know from the PC version. So another thing to note is that we will also have a complexity meter as in Planet Coaster. I'm going to explain that in a little bit more. And there will unfortunately not be a cross-platform trading platform, so you will not be able to trade animals with PC or Xbox or vice versa with PlayStation. So it's going to be on the console you're playing on themselves. So that is mostly the most important bits and infos, and I guess now it's time to speak about what you can expect. Little disclaimer, I'm not going to feature all the screenshots in this video because they're basically looking like Planet Zoo screenshots. There's nothing special about them. So if you want to check them out, I guess they're on the forums or on the website of Planet Zoo. So let's move on with the video. Alright, we are here with the console edition of Planet Coaster, which at the core of it has been a very smooth realization, I gotta say. So if you look at the menu and such, it's going to be very familiar to what you already know from Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster on the computer. However, it's all built around the controller. Now you can see already the PlayStation icons on screen, so the whole UI has been maximized, so basically everything is a bit bigger, a bit bolder, a bit easier to understand, and this is what you can expect. We are going to go now step by step through the different things that are very important for you, what you can expect, and I guess this is super helpful for those of you who haven't even played Planet Coaster in general and also who haven't really an idea what to do. So there are some quick toggles. As you've seen, there was just the pause was just activated. You can speed up the controls. You see that down below to the screen that you can use the cross arrows to basically do these controls. There are a couple of very intuitive settings that you can use. And we're going to go through a couple of very interesting bits now, also placing scenery and stuff, which might be very complicated, but hold this thought for a moment before we look at it. You might be actually very surprised. So let's look at the very first thing. Alright, so you can see here I'm putting down a ride, so don't worry about the ride. This is basically a coaster thing, but this works the same way with buildings, just like facilities and stuff. In Planet Zoo 2, you can see to the right hand side you've got access to some very good options like angle snap and move snap and all these things that you know and love. And with some easy clicks you can toggle between the different placement modes. As you can see over here, it's all tied to the center focus of your controller, and then you can easily switch over to the axis tool. And honestly, this axis tool worked a little bit better even than in real, because like in a computer version, because you can just snap with the shoulder buttons. You can snap through the different axes and then move it with your left key, your left mini stick. You can actually move it. So that was surprisingly smooth and easy, and it also came with a lot of Nice shortcuts, you know, where you can just snap through the different areas, and you can see how clean the overall look is, and it worked surprisingly well, I might add. But there's one feature that the console edition had over the PC edition that the PC edition didn't have, and I still wish to this date that they would have this stuff in the PC version too, and I'm still hoping that this is gonna come at least with the next CMS game Frontier is releasing. And this very function is, drum rolls please, the Radial menu. As you can see, there is a Radial menu which you can easily access by holding down in the PlayStation version as kind of the triangle, and if you go on Xbox, I believe it's Y, the Y key, and if you hold it down, you are going to have this quick menu. And the cool bit is this quick menu will always change according to what action you're doing. So it's going to give you quick modes, quick toggles for building, quick models for pathing, quick model for barriers, I assume, quick model for franchise stuff. So honestly, that is one of the smoothest things to have. Also, the way they realize that is super cool. And once you figure out in which mode which stuff is at which direction, you are becoming super quick in switching between these 2 or 3 or whatever options you have. So now you can see on screen, this is the building quick toggle, so you can toggle between the world axis, the relative axis, the normal move mode, and so on and so forth. And in other menus, you're always having the chance to do various things. So honestly, that was super surprising. And one bit, obviously, that everyone who knows the Planet games loves and hates equally is the pathing. And I'm sorry to say, but there's no improvement over the general pathing in the console version. However, the building is just as smooth as you could imagine it. So as you can tell on screen, this is how you build the path, and you can again just do angled snaps easily. But as you can see, it just follows the cursor relatively easy. It again has the snapping options, as you can imagine. And also, which I think is very funny, it does also have the same kind of embedded glitch, I would call it, where you can basically smooth out pathing with, you know, creating these weird joints and then deleting the path again to create plazas and stuff. So all the tutorials I made for the pathing will be working for the console edition too, and there's also a very nice way of switching between the different textures. You can see it on screen. The whole menu has been reworked for console, and I'm guessing that they will take a lot of inspiration from that for the console version of Planet Zoo 2, because it just makes sense. But you can also edit your overall controls if you want to change certain things. There's a whole menu now for putting your controller down and doing certain things. There's like an entire menu, as you can see, where everything is in detail described. But also, as we've already talked about, there will be a complexity meter in there, and this one is also available in Planet Coaster Console Edition. In this one, it's definitely, it's called different. I don't know how exactly it was called, but in a second we'll see that. Basically, there you have it. It was the Oswald Eugene counter, which has 4% in this one over here. But you can also assume that the more you build, the higher this value will go. And once you reach 100%, you will not be able to put anything more down. I remember that it was quite okay on the PS5 and Xbox X series. On PS4 and the old Xbox, it was kind of meh, but as they are not even supported this time around, it's not really a thing. And I hope that they increase the value yet again, so that definitely makes a lot more sense then. Also, speaking about facilities and buildings real quick, you can expect that the same thing for buildings will happen as on Planet Coaster console version. You will have a Frontier workshop in which you can upload your own blueprints, and you can download some other blueprints from others. Yet again, as they said, there will be no cross-platform support, so you will only have your PlayStation or a relative Xbox store from other Xbox players and other Planet Zoo players on PlayStation, and you can either share your docs over there and your blueprints over there. And then it just works exactly the same way as you would expect it from the game. You just take this very blueprint, put it down, use the controls to put it down. You have the different chops, blah, 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 everything available just as in the normal game. However, you will not have the blueprints that we all love and share on Steam. That is kind of one caveat you have to live with. But as many console players are just very happy to finally play the game, I think it's not the worst thing to have, because it's just simple and very clean, and just in general, the way this works is basically very nice, and it also is exactly the same way as it is on computer. And we all know that we all love the fact that we can share blueprints, don't we? Okay, and the last thing, because how to do blueprints is mostly Well, by building stuff. And as you can see over here, this is the building menu as it was in Planet Coaster console version. I may add at this point that I have done some remarkable things in this console version, because it comes with a couple of things, and there's one more thing over here that even the computer version of this game doesn't feature, and this is kind of an increment. I would call it ruler. So the more you build, there will be you can kind of have move snap on, and this means you move it alongside a certain length. Because with these tools in this game, it can be very finicky to move it exactly. Like, it's very much more easy to move things with the mouse, you know, because it just makes sense. However, in this game you have the move controls that it will only be moved at a certain increment. That is very helpful. So if you build, for example, let's say you have like a blueprint of a fence piece and you want to move this fence piece by exactly 1.20 meters, you can do this in this game because you can snap this distance, and that is pretty damn cool because it makes a lot of sense to use that over the completely free form. Because as I said, maybe the biggest issue was the movement with the mini stick to get it really perfectly accurate. But as you can still use the same copy and paste techniques as we have, like by using blueprints, copy them, and this is, by the way, this is exactly the grid I was talking about. This is how it looks, and you can change then the snap distance, and then the piece will snap alongside this way. So you have a lot of controls and tools to build as great as you can on computer. And as I said, I've built a whole main street, I've built like a very nice mine train and stuff like that. Really, that one over here has some huge potential, and I'm very glad that you guys, you console players out there, will be able to enjoy Planet Zoo to the most, and just enjoy the game in a very, very decent realization of a console version. I can already confirm that because I was very positively surprised, as I've now said a couple of times, like a broken record in this video, about how they did this on Planet Coaster. And even if they just do it one by one, it will already be a great experience. But I'm assuming that they have already done some more improvements, and I'm very excited to see that. So hopefully you found this video interesting, and not just looking at the trailer and some screenshots, but actually giving you some proper insight to how a console realization of a Planet game looks like. Finally also getting the multi-select option over here on screen, how that works. If you're interested, just check out my channel with like Planet Coaster console. You'll find some videos and you can dive deeper into how that looks. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think, and how much you are looking forward to this with some actual footage. So that is really something we would expect, hopefully for tomorrow when there is the Frontier unlocked. So until then, thank you so much for watching as always. And if you are interested in more content also featuring the Planet Zoo console version, make sure to sub to the channel. I will be covering everything. I will be doing tutorials for Planet Zoo console edition. I will do some builds. I will do some Q&As, whatever. So if you're interested, and just make sure to stick around. So have a good one. Thank you so much. And in case you want to see anything else, I have a proper Planet Zoo full-on 3.5-hour tutorial for you. If you want to check that one out, check out the linky now on screen. So until then, have a good time and goodbye.